So we have just hit over 500 reviews on Amazon. Now we're probably close on 1,000 reviews across various other platforms, but today we're going to talk about the good, the bad and the ugly on our African Ranger boot. Now the reason we do these videos is more to give you guys a better idea of is this boot better suited for you and where you can use it. Now everyone has their own opinion, especially when it comes to footwear. Like myself, when I'm not wearing gym greens, there are various brands of running shoes that I like to wear and some that just haven't worked for me, and the same goes when looking for a pair of boots. So let's dive into the good stuff first and we'll work our way down to some of the negative reviews that we have received. So the first 5-star review that we have pulled sort of covers quite a few points that we would like to talk on. And so it goes. Way more comfortable out of the box than other brands. I've tried various brands and all of them left feeling dissatisfied for the money despite their quality. Gym greens are the opposite. I traditionally prefer wide toe box shoes and these hit the nail on the head. Outside of some stiffness around the ankle that should loosen up as they break in, they fit perfectly. Bought a second pair in green, they are so nice. Now only 8 more pairs to go to contribute to that one pair to an African Ranger in need. So now just to comment on this review and why we decided to choose it. So now we don't want to bring down other brands of boots. As we mentioned, everyone has different preferences, but why we wanted to bring this to mind is that a traditional leather made boot is quite hard to break in. Like if you look at one of our Numzan boots, that boot is going to take a while to break in. Our Razorback boot is the same. Whereas here with our African Ranger, we've made this boot as an easy break-in and lightweight as possible, as people using it out in the harsh conditions of Africa need something light and flexible to get around, and the last thing they need is some blisters or a boot that's going to take a while to break in. So you'll see in many other reviews that people refer to this as a sneaker built like a boot, and it just gets that comfortable with time and as you break it in. Now the review references he likes a wide toe box. Now that is something that is a pro and a con and up to personal preference once again. So here with our African Ranger, we have gone with our STC last, which is of a wide and rounded fit. And from the top down, it does look a little bit clownish, but side on and once the boot's broken, then you actually can't recognize it in any way. Now with the evolution of our African Ranger, we have got the barefoot African Ranger as well, which uses a zero drop last, which is slightly wider than the STC, but much of a muchness. So it really just depends on which variation and last you go for on our African Ranger, but currently we're running it on our STC last and our zero drop last. On to the next point, about outside of some stiffness around the ankle that should loosen up as they break in, they are perfect. Now this all comes down to the leather choice that you choose. Now a leather like our Fudge is nice and soft and subtle, so the break in here isn't going to be all that long. Whereas on leather such as our recently released Bronco leather that is slightly firmer, or our African Buffalo leather, there's going to be some break-in on this boot. I've recently been wearing a pair of Horween African Rangers. Now that Horween leather is really thick and a hard break-in, and I won't lie, it took me a good couple of weeks and some sore and painful ankles to finally break that leather in. So it really just depends on your leather choice. If you're going for something like our Nubucks, it's going to be an easy one. If you're going for something like Bronco or Buffalo, it's going to be a hard one. And if you manage to get your hands on our limited edition Horween African Ranger, it's going to take you even long to break it in. Now the last point, now only 8 more pairs to go to contribute that one pair to an African Ranger. Those of you that are new to our channel and to the story, is that when we released this boot, we said that for every 10 we sell, we're going to donate a pair to a Ranger in need. And thinking we'll just donate a few pairs here and there and help out where we could. Fast forward to today, and we would have put on feet over 5,000 pairs by the end of Q1 next year. Now it's a project that I myself didn't even know we would get to these levels, and it's just really a great story. We do have some content on our YouTube channel, the work we do with Rangers, and as we go along, we're planning to get more and more of these stories out. So thank you to all of you that have supported this boot. You don't know how far it goes to the Rangers on the ground here in Southern Africa. They're some of the most underfunded people on earth, and a good set of boots goes a long way for their daily tasks. Next up, we have a review from Chadwick Ando, and he says, goofy looking shoes, but with a purpose. The boots pictured have been waxed, hence the darker color. Hands down, some of my favorite boots ever made. Yes, the white toe box does look a little goofy, but serves a purpose and I'm okay with that. Not here for looks. These will last you a lifetime. The one downside to these boots is the break-in period. You're going to absolutely hate them until. So let's dive into this 5-star review, and the first sentence, boots pictured have been waxed, hence the darker color. Now he started off with a pair of African Rangers and fudge. He applied a wax, and today we have got a pair of African Rangers that are 6 months old and have had numerous coats of our gym green leather balm applied. Now you can just see the patina that has happened from a brand new pair to the pair on my right hand side here. Now it really comes down to personal preference of what kind of look you guys want to go for. We have got a video on how to maintain the lighter look, or if you want to go for the darker look to care and condition for your boots. Here again, it also depends on your leather option. If you're going for the nubucks, which we have in front of me, the fudge, the green, and then we've also got a Houston brown, but those ones tend to patina a lot more than the more solid leathers such as our the African buffalo and our newly released Bronco. Although this Bronco has some serious amount of pull in it, so you can see the oils. It is quite a new leather. We haven't had many boots out there for longer than a month, so we're very excited to see what kind of patina this oily leather is going to get with time. Next up, he mentions, hands down, some of my favorite boots ever made. Yes, the wide toe box does look goofy, but serves a purpose and I'm all okay with that. Not here for looks. These will last you a lifetime. So here again, we are referencing personal preference to the fit of the boot. Now the reason we went for a wide toe box is that these boots are made for walking and hiking and long days on your feet. And after a couple of hours of walking through the bush or the streets or wherever you may be, your feet start to swell up and spread out a little bit. And that is when you're going to truly appreciate this wider toe box that we offer. He mentions that these boots will last a lifetime. So they will never last forever, but because our boots are a 360-degree stitch down construction, it is a fairly easy and affordable resole. We do have some videos on our channel of how we go about it, and if you reach out to your local cobbler, he'll be able to assist with putting a new set of soles onto your boots once you go through them, giving you 2 to 3 resoles depending on how you look after your boots. That is the most important bit. If you do take good care of them, then you are going to get a few resoles out of them. So just in those 2 5-star reviews, we've managed to cover pretty much everything that this boot is about and what people love about it. Now what I do find quite amazing and love to see is that on Amazon, where it's very hard to maintain a 5-star review, we have, as of today, a 79% 5-star rating on Amazon. Now, for those of you familiar with shopping on Amazon, the return rate is quite high, people are quite harsh, and for a boot like this, that is a little bit out of the norm, to have a 79% 5-star rating, I think is just amazing, and something that I take my hat off to our team here at the factory and what we've been able to put together with this boot. So now onto some of the chaps that weren't all that happy with their purchase, and let's go to the 3-star reviews that we have decided to point out. The first one, John CB. Nice, but can't be waterproofed. Very comfortable out of the box. The way the upper is sewn down does mean that they can't be waterproofed. I've tried multiple coats of shoe grease and water just pours in. So in a way, this review is kind of justifiable, but at the same time, we don't advertise this boot as being waterproof. Water is going to get into the boot. It's a single lasted boot, which means that there's only the one layer of leather that we pull over the last, flange it out and stitch down. So between the stitches and in the leather means water can get in. Now if you have a look at our video where we compare single lasted versus double lasted boots, you'll see that a double lasted boot is a lot more water resistant than a single lasted boot. Now, funny enough, I was recently on a walk and I was wearing my Halloween African Rangers, which is quite a thick leather. It's obviously been treated with a ton of oils, and I was walking through literally marshy conditions and my feet were bone dry at the end of it. I had not sealed off the stitching. I had not done anything to the boot and I was simply carrying on with my day. Whereas the guard that I was walking with, he had a pair of actually barefoot African Rangers in the Houston green, which is a nubuck leather. And his feet got absolutely soaked from the moment he stood into a puddle. So I wonder if this chap hasn't just made the wrong choice of leather when buying his boots, because if you do get, or if you do want to keep water out of the boot, you may want to go for a leather that has a bit more substance to it, like our standard brown leather, the buffalo leather, or if you really want to go all the way, the recent Halloween leather that is a limited edition run. Next 3-star is from Tech 12. No padding on tongue. It's kind of heavy, no padding on the boot tongue, might hurt your ankle. Also consider that the look might be kind of round for the toe of boot. So let's reference his kind of heavy. So yes, in terms, if you're comparing this to a lightweight sneaker or a boot that uses synthetic materials, it is going to be on the heavier side. But if you're comparing it to a well-made heavy duty boot, it's going to be on the lighter side. So here, it's just down to his personal preference. Now the biggest thing, and the reason we chose this review, is no padding on the collar. Now, one of the most important things when breaking this boot in is that you need to train this tongue. We'll put a little video up here of how you need to train the tongue, because once this tongue learns to fall into the places where you folded it, it's very hard to undo that. So if there are any discomforts where this tongue is folded on your initial few wears, you need to straight away restructure and remove this tongue so that it falls nicely around your foot and is nice and comfortable. Because you'll see after a good couple of miles, all you do is pull the laces and the tongue will naturally fold in. So that kind of sums up the 3-star reviews of the boot. Very valid points that guys have made, but at the same time, do a little bit of research when buying a leather product. Buying leather boots is something that is a little bit different to many, coming from wearing sneakers. So just doing a little bit of homework to see how and what is best for you will just make sure that you avoid those slight disappointments that you might have. So now onto the 1-star reviews. There are always going to be these out there, but of all the ones on Amazon, we've only got, I think it's 5 of them. So the one we've decided to point out is from Scott Ford, and he says, uncomfortable. Digs in the back of my ankle, leather all bunched up, 3 hours of wear with a small amount of walking and my ankle is all red and almost blistered. I expect a little better workmanship for $190. So everything that he mentions here is the truth. But here again, what you need to do is just do a little bit of research, and most importantly, when buying a leather product, you need to break the boot in. So everything that we previously mentioned in the 3-star reviews, he's gone and done, and he's only worn the boots for 3 hours and already made made a review on our boots, which is a little bit unfair. He's only worn the boots for 3 hours. Sometimes leather boots, or especially these boots, can take a good couple of weeks. Numzans and Razorbacks, those can take 2-3 months before they eventually soften up. So what we suggest, that if the boot isn't doing the job for you, just wear it around the house, get a feel for it. If it hurts for the first hour or two, take it off, let your feet rest, wear it in the next day for an hour or two, and then if you're still having issues with it, obviously our website, we offer free returns and exchanges. You can contact us. Provided we can put the boots back into stock, we'll obviously return these and refund you. We are happy to go that extra mile to make sure that you are happy in our products, and if you're unhappy, see if there's any way that we can resolve it. So thanks very much for watching. For those who have been with us since day one of the Fudge African Ranger, you will now see that we've got new sole options, we've got barefoot options, we are even coming out with composite toe options later next year. So in the comment section below, let us know which of these variations are your favorite or looking forward to getting. We're happy to take some suggestions as well if you think there's something we should add here. And please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and thanks very much for the support of this boot, and especially on behalf of the Rangers that are getting a free pair of boots. I know that they are very grateful to.